recording on video. All right. Can you see him?
Yeah, we're good, man.
Say it again.
We're good, man. Man. We're good, man.
We're good, man. We're good, man. We're good, man. We're good, man. We're good, man. We're good, man.
This is
We're
wild.
good, man. We're 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 live and direct. I got the looper hooked up, and I'm glad to be here.
Excellent,
What's up,
man.
sir?
Thank you. Hey, good. Wow, quite the introduction, man. I appreciate you taking the time.
You're welcome. I'm doing some testing for a week's worth of intensive streaming, so I want to make sure everything works correctly. Yeah, like that, like, you know, my little effects whenever I want to do something. And my voice is clear, it's coming through, everything is nice and crispy, and, well, not crispy, but warm, and you hear me well, you know.
Yeah,
I see some
audio is
Pikachus in the
perfect.
background of your as well. Cool.
So, yeah, before, I really do want to ask you about Pokemon, but, I mean, I'm sure you get that a lot.
No, never.
I wanted to actually ask about, or start with, Election.
Oh,
Yeah, it's one of my favorite films.
you've done your research.
just a little bit. Yeah, I think I'm actually gonna probably surprise you, maybe with some of my questions, I hope. But yeah, how was that project? What was it like being a part of that project?
I'm sure if it's one of your favorite films, you actually saw the scene that I was in.
That is correct.
And it was quite interesting because that one scene I had to do 3 different locations until we got to that location, and it's one of the amazing things about movies is that they spend exorbitant amounts of money and incredible amounts of time and resources to capture a thing that doesn't even make it oftentimes. It's one of the most wasteful art forms that I've ever experienced being a part of, and that's a great movie actually. So, you know, and that was back in the day when movies were made with, you know, tens of millions of dollars. Well, many millions of dollars. I think I don't know what the budget that was. What budget for that movie was, but it was one of those things where I showed up at 8 o'clock in the morning on one location. Then we went to a second location, and then we finally got to the school at like 7 at night. And by 9:30 or 10, we were shooting that scene, which, you know, it was just me sitting in the hallway talking about my problems with circumcision. I have a song that goes, "But my circumcision, blood was on the wall." So I have a long, I'm what is known as an intactivist. I believe that babies and human beings should not be cutting off their genitals, at least without consent. If you want to do it with your own consent, that's fine. So that's kind of what the conversation was about. We were getting really heated about it. And then later on when I watched the film and I saw that they had shown the statue, right, like prior to that shot, they actually interwove our conversation in with an edit of that statue with its genitals intact, I might say. So it's very interesting because you don't really hear what I'm talking about or really get into the depth of it, but they wanted a real thing going on, a real conflict, a real scene going on, and that's pretty much my specialty is being real in dramatic environments, bringing the energy and authenticity of a real situation in an environment where it's completely premeditated, calculated, and manipulated. The phone in the hallway, they hung on the wall to represent the payphone that she was going to make a call from. Like nothing in that school environment was that dormitory environment was there. Their lighting is coming from the outside of the place. It's amazing being on a movie set. You just can't believe all the stuff is going into the tiny little bit. Like right now, I've got 5 giant lights outside of my window. I've got the spinning light behind me. I've got my crew of 35 people right here. And, I was in wardrobe for about 2.5 hours for this interview. And they fit this on me perfectly, and they made sure that all my pants were perfect. My hat was perfectly tailored. They made this hat specifically for this interview. I bought this ring especially for the interview, and this whole tech setup was purchased just for this. I mean, that's what would go on if this was that. And it's so fabulous that we now have the opportunity to just be doing it all by ourselves and creating, I think, more value. Even though Election was a pretty good movie. All right, sorry, elaborate answer, but there you go.
You're good, man. It's nice to add context to the scene, and it's one of my go-tos when I worked in a video store. It was one of the ones I'd always kind of push for people that would come to me for recommendations.
Yeah, you're the pusher. You're the video pusher.
That's me.
The most important, and I just realized yesterday, one of the most dangerous drugs to be pushing is media, and interestingly, at that point, you were the front line pusher of that media, and that was a good film to push. But you could have pushed any kind of, bad stuff on people, and I realized that is one of the main problems going on right now is the media that people are pushing on us. So, are you still a pusher?
I no longer work at a video store, but now I actually create content for a college. So,
cool.
In a roundabout way, yes.
Yeah. Well, we're all pushing something, aren't we?
Of course.
I'm pushing media. I'm just my own media, and your media very soon.
So, another one of your films or something you worked upon that I also consider another classic was Club Dread.
Oh.
I actually saw that in theaters.
Kicking it real good this time. That business from his mind. Let's get this party started. I forgot how it goes. I've never performed that song, but I wrote a whole bunch of stuff in that movie. That's one of the songs. Kicking it.
On the old man's dime.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Wow, dude, I've never been asked anything about that movie, and I've never even attempted to play or do anything from that. But my buddy who I did that with, Mike Weaver, who's an actor. I don't think he was an actor in that movie, but he's been with that troupe. He was in Super Troopers and a couple other movies with the guys that produced that. And I think he was in that movie too. He and I produced it. He'll be very happy that I got asked about it.
Yeah, I thought it was a fantastic film. I remember seeing it in theaters, and just kind of, it was a step beyond the Super Troopers, and I think that it doesn't really get the love that it deserves.
Agreed.
Kind of considering that you did work with Broken Lizard, was that process any different? Was it the same?
Yeah, it was very different because Jay had worked hand in hand with Mike Weaver on Super Troopers and knew his musical skills. So Mike Weaver and I have performed in a band called The New Black. That was his band, and I helped produce it and perform it. And he would come to me with movie projects that he was involved in that we needed to create music for. Oftentimes they do these movies and they put in template tracks. Like I think that one was Pump Up the Jam, Pump It Up as the beat is pumping, or one of those, jam on it, jam on it, jam on it. But they didn't have the money or they didn't want to get the rights to that. So they basically say to producers like myself, hey, we want something that sounds like this template to fit this scene. They walk into an 80s type party and they want to hear that 80s type throwback type song. So and then my voice goes into any kind of sound that you want it to go into. That's one of my specialties as a vocal artist, is to imitate and emulate in order to satisfy the requirement of the producers, the content, and the motive of the project. In this particular case, it was sound like jam on it. But in Pokemon, it's gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon. which is sound like a kind of a 14 to 17-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Which bizarrely on the video comments on YouTube, I often get, it sounds like a black woman, or it sounds like Michael Jackson. People that don't know Michael Jackson's material think it might be Michael Jackson, which is it, or always thought it was Michael Jackson until they discovered me. And I did sing backgrounds with Michael Jackson as well, so I have emulated his voice in the live performances and in many parody songs that I've produced myself as well.
Yeah, so kind of going off the Pokemon thing, when you get offered these roles and they're not necessarily like PG, you have kind of an image to uphold, like I would assume. Is there any hesitation, like, I mean, anything Broken Lizard's a little bit edgy, but I mean, you worked on Sausage Party. So
yeah, well, I think there is definitely a concern about that. I want to be brand friendly, but I don't work for Pokemon. I work for you. I work for the Comic-Cons. I work for the people. Pokemon has not hired me since 1998, and they didn't actually hire me. They hired a music company who hired me. So you know, they just work. They go through other people. But yes, I am concerned because I know that the brand can't really sustain my political activity, my political views. It shouldn't be political, and I am trying to not separate myself from the brand, but as you've discovered, see that I'm way more things than this one brand. I'm Lego Mania, and Sausage Party, and all these other things, and I think that there is a concern, and I am concerned about it, and I noticed that Pokemon kind of dealt with it in a very unique way with Post Malone, as they were using him as their representative star of the 25th anniversary. There could be no more edgy, scary, drug, alcohol promoting, tattooed, satanic looking human being to have as your figure. Yeah. So I think what they did in order to mitigate that and to sort of say we're cool is they made him into a cartoon character, and they didn't give him the full range to just be out there Pokemoning on his own, even though I think he's a big Pokemon fan as well. So I think we all, and I've just learned in the past 4 years to love the brand through people who are asking me to do events, and understanding the brand through the Pokemon Facebook groups, and recently my card collecting experience and with the card collecting community. That really gave me insight into the value of the cards, the value of the hobby, the collectors part of it, not the playing the games. That's a whole nother level of enthusiasm. So my own personal enthusiasm for it is the barrier to me doing something in my life that could affect it negatively. Like it's not even the brand that the Pokemon company that I don't want to offend. I actually care about the fans personally because I interact with them. The Pokemon company is just interacting financially with people, and they have a very strong motive to protect their brand by making Post Malone a cartoon and making sure that nobody represents Pokemon poorly. I think there's some Pokemon porn out there. There's Pokemon, crypto companies that they're trying to police as well. But they have an interest in doing that. But so do I, because of my love for it. So when I do a project, I do try to assess how it's going to appear to other Pokemon fans. However, there's 2 billion of them. So I'm gonna piss off a few of them no matter what I do. Even when I post the cards and sign the cards, 1 out of 100 goes, "Look, he's defacing these cards. How dare he write his name over these cards? He didn't do that, Art." I'm like, people bring me napkins to sign. People bring me buttocks to sign. People bring me licenses to sign. I signed somebody's actual driver's license right next to their signature, where you have to have your signature. They wanted my signature. So to sign a Pokemon card is not defacing it. It's actually, it's part of the ecosystem. I would love to have Arita sign sign the little Pikachu doll that I have, or the CD that he had nothing to do with, but he had to do with it because he created this artwork. So, and it means something to me to have his autograph. So, but anyway, there's going to be haters, and hopefully the haters are not the Pokemon Company International for anything I'm doing, and they can see that I'm doing nothing but bringing value to the brand by interacting with the fans. And I think that's why Pokemon is what it is because they kind of got out of the way they got out of the way in the beginning for other financial projects, but they really got out of the way in the past 5 years, I would say, where Comic-Cons exploded with Pokemon stuff, that every individual that wants to make a Pokemon costume, go ahead and make it. They're not trying to take money from those people. If anybody wants to make a Pokemon YouTube channel, they're not taking money from that. But they are taking money from the song and the licensing of the song. And the song is used everywhere. But now there's collection systems that will enable them to collect that money through digital means. And I think that gives them the ability to let more people do things with their brand. And that, I think Pokemon, the corporation, has made over $100 billion to date, but the money that the people underneath of it have made and spent is probably in the trillions. So I'm just estimating, there's this triangle on the top of the company, and then it's like 10% of what's actually going down underneath, which is fan-based, love-based projects that people are doing because they love Pokemon, and they can get some royalty from the various things that they do and their artwork that they create in the events where they sell little Pokemon figures or make Pokemon cups or stickers and books and art and all kinds of stuff. So, yes, good question, dude. You're on it.
Thank you. So, real quick about Post Malone, I think this is kind of interesting. He was one of the first people to be sponsored by like Budweiser. So they used to send him like truckloads of just cases of beer. Yeah. So like he wasn't even 21. So
before he was 21?
Yeah, it's if I remember correctly, yeah, I believe there was a video where he wasn't 21 and he was getting cases of beer.
Wow.
But so yeah, you can have that in your back pocket.
Yeah, definitely.
But I want to get back to you a little bit. Pokemon's great, but I when kind of doing research on you, I found a little bit about the What's Up show. I'm a big fan of like regionalized like sketch comedy. Like I love like Stella and SCTV. That's stuff I grew up on. So I want to know about that.
There it is, the What's Up show.
Well, that's awesome, man.
This is a classic thing. We were here. I'll read the background. The back. It's an incredible piece right there. It says, exploding out of the New York City's underground scene comes the What's Up show, produced by self-styled artists Ben Warren and Jason Paige. What's Up TV is an all-out assault on the senses. The eclectic mix of musical and sketch comedy has gained the respect of a loyal cult following, unseen since the likes of Jim Jones, when they killed everybody with the Kool-Aid. This is a collection of taboo-smashing humor, culled from 60 episodes that we aired on Manhattan Cable TV, done on a shoestring budget, literally, like just with the video camera on my shoulder at first, when we had to put the videotapes in the camera, and then I migrated to VHS-C and then a mini DV camera. Its originality is a refreshing alternative to network-controlled programming. So sit back, grab yourself a cup of Kool-Aid, and enjoy the show. You can see on the box, it's us on the back, and we've got babies sitting there with shit coming out of their butts. So
hell yeah.
we were South Park before South Park. We were the live version of South Park before South Park. We were YouTube before YouTube, and before the censorship of YouTube, where you couldn't do all these funny, crazy things. We were SNL without the production value. We were MTV's Real World, because we were going in my house and we're living together in New York City apartments. We're Robin Bird, except with content, because we would actually, there's nudity, And
Yeah.
there's like there's a picture right there of it looks like a butt, but it's just knees. It's just a shot of the knees. So we would do all these skits that looked like it was nudity, and we'd pull out, and it would just be somebody's knees, or or the reverse. You see something, and we pull out, and it would be the thing that you couldn't believe it was. It's just everything. Jackass, and all of those shows that eventually became popular. We started it. Four guys, a video camera, and no rules, right there. And the opening shot, I mean, this is the thing that Pokemon would not be cool with. Nobody would be cool with this at this point. It's not online anywhere. At some point, it's going to resurface. There's like 1 or 2 skits on my YouTube channel, like the FedEx skit. And look on the cover is us exploding with the World Trade Center going down.
Oh wow.
So we had another skit that's on this greatest skits, FedEx delivering a vial of anthrax to the cab driver who throws it in the reservoir of New York City prior to the anthrax scare. So we were like a premonition. We also did the claw is coming. The claw is going to get you. The claw. And then that's Jim Carrey took that. So people, I'm convinced that a lot of people on major network television shows, we just have a list of a whole bunch of things that people stole from this, watching this. At the time, 1995 to 1998 was the heyday of this show. Manhattan Public Access Cable TV had 18 channels, and we were channel 17 next to MTV on channel 16, I think, at 10 o'clock on Sunday, and then I applied for a second spot on Tuesday, so sometimes we were going twice a week at 10 p.m. to a potential 12 million viewers in New York City. And I was recognized daily on New York City streets. Hey, you're the guy from that crazy show. We watch it. We put it on in the bar every weekend when it's on. And then when I would go into a jingle session, when I started singing jingles, every producer in every studio knew the show and had watched the show, so they would see us singing our songs on the show. And I kind of got a reputation that way, and people would love it, and they would, it was just. It is amazing. We have a little video hotline that we had people call. Little Kim called the hotline and said, y'all are the bomb. So we have the quote from her. Little Kim says the bomb. Pop Smear magazine said incredibly funny. It's just, I wish we could go back to the days where we could speak freely and laugh freely in this way, and maybe we will on future crypto platforms when we have, independent, when we're financially so successful that they can't take us down. I don't know. We'll see. It's just funny. It's funny. We have 40 episodes of this thing, 60 episodes of it on VHS. Bam. Anyway, another amazing question. First time I've ever been asked about that on a video interview. So thank you.
Yeah. These are all VHS behind me. So yeah,
you're a collector.
Yeah, big fan.
Do you have any of VHS encapsulated?
No, I don't believe in that. I don't think that it'll like take off.
Well, because I just recently got this on eBay because it was in shrink wrapped in its perfect condition, and I noticed they're really expensive, and obviously we can't play them anymore. I mean, unless you can on a VCR, but they're more valuable as collector's items now than they are as actual videotapes. So I'm looking to find a grading company that's good to encapsulate these.
So you are coming to Fort Worth soon. I believe the company that does do that is in Fort Worth. I could be wrong.
Oh, yeah?
But I believe so. I can shoot you an email after the fact
cool.
and let you know. Because of those taking off, I've been able to sell a lot of my sealed tapes that aren't normally worth anything.
Do you have any Pokemon?
I don't have any sealed Pokemon. I have
they're hard to come by.
Yeah, I have a sealed Indiana Jones, which is pretty costly.
Oh yeah.
But
well,
yeah,
you
I'm
worked at the video store. You gotta go from the people that worked at the video store, and so hopefully they have some of them lying around.
Exactly. I think I got batteries not included. The stuff that I collect though is more so like the oddball stuff, like stuff that you don't really see, out and about, like the stuff you would find in a video store.
Yeah, cool. That's great.
So
Maybe I'm going to bring some of these videotapes with me to be signing at the Fort Worth event, and then hopefully there might be a video of the encapsulation company there at the event. I don't know.
yeah,
There's a wonderful app that I just filled out some forms on that tells you everything that's going on at the con. So I'm gonna check into that.
yeah, I'll look into it too. And then, we have Pro Support TCG Weekend, biggest TCG event ever, or being advertised as the biggest one ever. November 6th, November 7th, Fort Worth Convention Center. So Jason Paige is going to be there. And, before I guess we wrap this up, I do want to know, you have a theater background, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I've noticed a lot of your projects are not just musically based, but you have a lot of comedy. Is that something you just gravitate towards, or does that just kind of happen?
The comedy is a way to get your point across without offending somebody, and that's kind of what we did with the What's Up show back in the day. And I think the best comedians are really doing that now. They're starting to do it again now, but it's a way to frame your messages that people can digest, and I've always gravitated towards writing songs like that with a comedic slant to get my messages across. Those messages are now migrating to other platforms because messaging is kind of controlled on mainstream platforms, but that's all right because there's so many other platforms now coming up.
Yeah.
And that's where the comedians are going, because it is their job to call out the sacred cows. I don't consider myself a comedian, but I do have a good interest in getting the point across. And if I use comedy to do it, then I'm more effective. But yeah, theater is the last. It's the last organic entertainment form, and it's being eradicated by regulations here in Los Angeles, where it is one of the most fertile theater communities exists. Recent law changes have made it impossible for theater companies to use volunteers. They now have to have everybody on payroll, which costs them more money than their budget is for the whole year for just one show.
Yeah.
To put people on payroll, just the fees to put people on payroll, not even the money they have to pay them, which is minimum wage now that they're on payroll. For people that have been volunteering for 10 years for an organization to create theater, it's like organic art. It's like if they said you can't paint this painting anymore unless you pay to paint your own painting. It's like people are coming together to build a house. It's like they're like the theater company in LA are like the Amish. Everybody comes together and they put this amazing thing together. Nobody asks for any money. They all do it just to serve the thing. And now you got to pay everybody to do it. It's impossible. Hundreds of theater companies have closed down, and there's a large battle to eradicate theater. And I think that part of it is because it's the last organic place where we can interact without any kind of regulation and without any kind of funding that stops it, because people are contributing their time and energy. They're volunteering, so we don't need giant budgets to do it. And now the COVID regulations, at least in Los Angeles, are really restrictive as well, because not only do the theater companies have to figure out a way to put everybody on payroll, but now they have to reformat their theaters with air systems, and half their audiences, which are already only 99 seats. So now they're only allowed 50 people in a place, and they have to put tens of thousands of dollars worth of gear in it in order to do half the amount of audience. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. So this year we're going to be doing our Beatles Gospel Nativity again, but we're going to try to do it outside where we have less regulations. We can have just as many people come to the event. We can have people feel safe, and we can not, and still celebrate this Christmas season in our 13th year of creating the Beatles Gospel Nativity, with Beatles songs telling the Nativity story, with the gospel chorus arrangements that I wrote, and a 60-person gospel choir, and 15 people in the cast, and it's just, and a band, live band. It's the most incredible community building, artistic, voluntary experience that I've ever been involved in, and it has basically replaced Christmas for us all, and we're going to try to do it again this year. So if you're in the LA area or you know anybody that is, let them know the Beatles Gospel Nativity. It's called Both. Will hopefully be going on, and you can find information about it on my Facebook channel.
Excellent. Yeah. You said LA. Is there a particular facility that this will be at, or has that been announced yet?
We're looking at doing it in the Fountain Theater's parking lot, where they have set up an outdoor stage.
Excellent.
That's on Fountain in Hollywood, in East Hollywood.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm Houston, so if I was out there, I'd be out there.
I was just there.
I know.
Did we meet?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
That's why you look familiar.
So, speaking of the experience, and I have to applaud you, because when you took the stage, it was like everyone, you took everyone by surprise. It was fantastic. The entire place just, you took it over. It was fantastic. And not only were you performing, but you were, participating in the pack rips, and it was really neat, man. And like, I don't necessarily follow the pack ripping live and things like that. Like, I like cards. Obviously I like movies, and I like conventions, but you being there and handling it the way you did, I think brought a lot of eyes and attention to something that not everyone will be looking at, which I think is the goal.
Yeah, I think these Comic-Cons, they're Collecticon, and the Comic-Cons, they're evolving, and they're evolving so fast that they can't keep up with themselves, and they don't know what they need or how to handle it. And my specialty is going in and stealing the mic and taking over when something needs to happen. I throw the loop jam down, and I sing the song that needs to be sung in the environment that it needs it right at that moment. Yep. The improvisation is very important in that environment, and I've been watching these pack breaks, and I've done them sort of on my own, in my own stream, where I sing the things, and when I watch other people do it, and there's nothing going on. Yeah. I just want to pull my last remaining hair out. Maybe that's why it is like that, because I've been at these things and been like, oh, what are you doing? Shh. Oh, no, can't pull that out. Yeah, so they gave me the opportunity to jump on the mic, and I was just going to loop while somebody else did the moderating, but of course they didn't have their technical things. They didn't know how many people they were going to have and how many mics they needed, so I became the MC by default, which is kind of what happens to me in a lot of environments. I become the MC by default, and I love it because it gives me an opportunity to use my skills, my improv skills, and my beatboxing skills, and my knowledge now of Pokemon cards, and mixing the Pokemon and the music, and just creating value in an environment where they need more value. They need more centralized planning for the entertainment, I think. Not just Collecticon, but all of these events. Yeah. Sometimes the stages will be very well produced, but the most exciting thing that happens usually at these things are the costume contests, and then they get the voice actors to get up there, and they just chat on about how they went on this audition and that audition, and when they did this voice and that voice, and it's really not very interesting, in my opinion. But it might be to those actors. It might just be just like another interview like this, but this interview works in the context of our thing. But on a giant stage, it's you can't just sit there and talk about the auditions you went on and how you used to record your voice, and when you did this voice and they wanted you to do that voice, and then you did. It's just it really annoys me when I see that broadcasting to a giant audience. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Oh God, somebody grab the mic and beatbox and sing something.
I think a lot of that has to do with who is the mediator or who is kind of conducting the interview, especially in a facility like that, or like a place where there's so many people watching. If the person isn't prepared, then ultimately it's just,
Did you see the Whatnot stage on the other side?
I did. I saw a little bit of it. I saw a little bit of everything. I was with my kid, and he wanted to do the jumpy house, so we were mostly at the jumpy house.
That's fun. That's so much fun. That was great that they had that. They really provided a lot of value there, and those guys are really great guys. And anything that went wrong, I didn't know about it, and they were totally calm and cool, collected the whole time, just relaxed, and that's the best. That was the best organized con I've seen, and a great way to meet other vendors as well. So there was a good mix of the people there and the vendors also interacting to create value with each other, which is something that I think is going to happen at this largest TCG Pro Win event in history.
Yeah, so to wrap up, you know, I just want to say again, thank you for your time. TCG Weekend coming up November 6th, November 7th. What can we expect from Jason Paige? A little bit more of the same, the improv, the fun? What do you got?
I haven't been asked to do anything other than sing the Pokémon theme song. I'm not a speaker there. I'm just I'm gonna kick off the whole event with the theme song, and then they're gonna play, and then they're gonna get, you know, a lot of people are gonna get out of the because they're gonna lose and they're gonna have to walk around and buy stuff. And I'll be there to sign some autographs and do an autograph signing. And if there's a stage that's not happening and a microphone that somebody's not using properly, I will get up there and grab it from them and create value, even though I'm not getting paid for it, just because it's what I have to do in the world. It's what we're all doing in the world, is using our superpowers to create value wherever we go, and that value comes back to us in a myriad of ways that don't have to be financial. They're spiritual, they're emotional, they're creative, they're partnerships that I make, and because I grabbed the mic and did that, I'm probably here with you today.
Yeah, that's exactly
I'm
right.
Grab the mic and do it there, and I'll have 10 other things that'll happen because of that.
Well, Jason Paige, my name is Jessie Hobson with CineDump.com. At CineDump, we let the doers know how they're doing. And Mr. Jason, you're doing just fine. Thank you so much. And Mr. Jason, you're doing just fine. Thank you so much. And Mr. Jason, you're doing just fine. Thank you so much. And Mr. Jason, you're doing just fine. Thank you so much. And Mr. Jason, you're doing just fine.
TCG Pro Support, come on. 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 I'm gonna be at TCG Pro Support November 6 and 7. Come on down, Jason is gonna turn it way up past 10, he's gonna hit 11. I'm gonna grab the mic if they ain't doing what's good for the whole big room. Cause I'm gonna be there, so come on down to TCG Pro Support, so come